You're such an asshole.
Finally coming around the mountain, finishing my book. I'm going to play catch up with Asshole Consulting. And if you have a question, you need some guidance and wisdom, and above all else, you don't want to be some cocksucking schmuck in a suit lying to you saying, yes, you could pay us $100,000 more and we have these stages up. No, I don't want to see your face again unless it's a completely new and different problem. Here at Asshole Consulting, we're in the business of solving problems, not providing perpetual solutions. Anyway, hey asshole, I love your videos and I appreciate some thoughts on career steps. My job is I'm going to anonymize this a fair bit, a manager in the finance department looking after treasury, financial planning, and different revenue streams. I'm good at my jobs and get plenty of praise from the CEO and CFO and the board, and have scored well above 100% on my performance review each year since joining. But at the same time, they keep giving me a 2% increase in salary. And being the sole non-accounting finance guy in the department, there's limited scope for me to move up here. While I like the organization and my staff, I was bored with my job 3 years ago. Okay, tough shit. All jobs suck. Rule number 1, all jobs suck. Okay? All women are whores. No, not all women are whores. But all jobs do suck. There's some good women out there, but a job that doesn't suck, good luck in finding that, pal. It does it. So get that out of your mind. The women that always aren't happy, that's the guys who go, my job sucks. All jobs suck. Limited scope for you to move up. Why I like that, and you like your organization and staff. That's great. That's rare. That's about as good as it gets. Okay? It has been tolerable as it is 5 minutes from home. All right, you have no commute, and because of it, we get a great discount on building materials. Okay. The nub of my problem is I now find myself with very limited potential for the upside movement. Outside of banking and corporate finance sectors, there's a very limited number of organizations in my country that both need my skill set and will pay north of what I'm currently earning. The competition for jobs is fierce as our economy is sucking slightly less than other Western economies, and we have both a lot of immigration from different parts of the world and repatriators, people coming back home. My background was first in corporate banking and then corporate finance before moving to a corporation in the retail sector about 5 years ago, whereas in my corporate finance days I would get headhunted. Now I get consultants pitching me jobs paying the same or less than I'm currently get. And if I apply for jobs paying more than I currently am, I don't even get interviews. So that's the free market telling you. What you really ought to do is, if everyone's calling up for consulting gigs, just highball them. I ended up getting, I know it sounds odd, but what was it? There was that artist. Because it's going to cost you nothing. If consultants they want you to do a consulting gig, it costs you nothing to highball them. If you're not getting these anyway, okay, fine. But there's some guy who was making lamps, like artistic lamps, and he was selling them for like 100, and he could sell them. And he lowered it to 75. He kept lowering. And he said, "Fuck it." I think he rose it like $2,000 and was selling out. All right, do that. Try that. Say, "I'm sorry, this is way below me. You need to pay me at least this." And then like women, they'll be like, "Oh my god!" It's like renting a car, leasing a Mercedes. You don't own it. You're faking it. But then people, "Oh my god, Mercedes!" Just because it costs you nothing. What does it cost? It won't cost you nothing to do that. But it's a minor problem. Since starting my job, I've been doing additional part-time study to complete the academic requirements to become an accountant. All right, which my work has paid 50% of the cost. This largely sucks up all of my non-work and family time and will do so for the next 12 months. Okay, all right, well, maybe that's doable. You don't want to pass up your wife and kid. This may have a positive impact on my hireability when it is completed, as being an accountant seems to be an unnecessary prerequisite for a lot of the jobs I look at. Financially, I'm not in bad shape. I have a family home with 2 rental properties plus about $500,000 in shares and investments. And if I adjust for the interest or the exchange rate, that's about $350,000 US dollars that you have for our American viewers. America! I've been share trading since university and frequently dividend strip to produce dividend income. This is something I really enjoy, managing a rental property. And our share portfolio also takes a chunk of my time outside work. All of my net worth is around 1.25 million, so 1 million US. And income from my jobs, excluding dividends, rents, and my wife's salary is about 120 US. And that excluding dividends, rents, and your wife's salary. Before you suggested to do an IQ test, I did the classic test on queendom sitting, getting a score of 150. I have a bachelor's and a master's from a university in finance. By way of reference, the university has a QS rating similar to UT Austin in North Carolina. All right, so you're going to a reputable, but not the fucking Harvard of your country. In younger days, I tutored accounting, property, finance, economics, etc., but otherwise don't really have much experience. I'll say banking and finance. Personality-wise, I am one of those analytical, introverted people with some sort of extreme shyness thing, so I'm terrible at networking and forming relationships. Well, you seem to have it. If you don't know what it is, look up for The Man in the Gray Flannel Suit. It was one of my videos. You seem to have it. Most people don't have it. You have it, and corporations and corporate-type people like you. So you got it, and that's better than your degree. I've come up with numerous ideas for small businesses over the years, but they never progress beyond that on paper. We don't have time for that, dude. You really don't. You have a kid and you have a wife. If there was no change of circumstances when my study is over mid-next year, I was planning on doing a series of property flips in order to add some more capital towards buying another property and then renting out the home we currently live in. Growing up, I saw my father go through a midlife crisis, leaving a well-paid job that he hated, only to be forced to take a poorly paid job that he hated. Yep! One in the hand's better than two in the bush, pal. You got it. I had another client. He was in the Navy. He was doing well, and he said, I'm getting out at the age of 27. And now he hates his life. It's like, why did you leave the Navy? Do you think at 27 with a management degree, you're going to ever find anything better than the Navy? So yeah, you're getting paid. You're in the top, well, what do you got to be? In the world, you're in the top 2%. And in Western economies, you're easily in the top 10, maybe even the top 8 or 7%. And you're going to risk that because you might be able to eke out another 25 or 30 grand? I always said to myself that I will develop options, that I would not find myself in that position, but besides having some balance sheet to fall back on, I don't feel like I've got myself into that position. Were it just me, I could quite happily take any job and live a modest lifestyle, but with a family that is not practical. Any thoughts on career steps and possibly a way of retooling myself to the deal where I am? Then I had some questions. And they are here. Oh my God. Always good. Okay. This is in addition to I'm always going to want to have both an intellectually stimulating job and to move up, not for lifestyle reasons, but for the sake of winning. Good. I'm going to answer you right here because this is your biggest problem. Then we'll continue on with your list. You will lose. You're an addict. You got to keep going. You have motherfucking everything, and you will lose it all. And I'm not talking your investments. Good. You'll have your investments. Good for you. You got yourself, $170,000 job. Yeah. But then your wife leaves you because you're not around, and your kid ends up needing fucking therapy sessions and fucking antidepressants, or in the case of some people I know actually quite personally, kill themselves because their fucking parents aren't around. Now you have a choice. You can kick your own ass and stop with this, I gotta win. You've won. You've crossed the fucking line. You win the finish line. You won the race. You make over $100,000. You have a net worth of a millionaire. You have enough rental income and residual income that your family is perfectly paid for. I hate to think what your kid's going on in his fucking mental brain right now with mom working and you working and running around managing fucking rental properties. It's you. I don't know if it's ego, but it doesn't matter. You value this bullshit more than your own fucking family. And when they're gone, or you've alienated them and they may physically be there, but they're mentally not present, or they're just not mentally vested in you anymore, or you got your kid doing drugs and banging chicks and getting them pregnant. I forgot if you had a guy or a girl. You got a boy. You got a little infant baby. Okay, 16 months, okay? When this kid grows up and dad ain't around and mom's not around, you're shipping it off to daycare. But hey, you know what? You got that third fucking rental property that you flipped for. And you got your accounting certificate. Well, see, that's all good that when your kid goes and his brains are all splattered. Think about that. The brains are all splattered in his own bedroom. You and the wife you're too busy with yourselves and your careers that you don't even notice the kid's gone until they have those forensic investigator things. No, the neighbors didn't know until they smelled the rotting corpse. And you go in and there's your kid's brains all splattered about and there's maggots and blood. Then are you going to say, hey, you know what? At least I got 3 properties and I got that promotion. I mean, of course the statistics of that happening is very little, But I just want, what's more important to you, dipshit? The family or making money? Well, okay. Well, there's your problem, all right? You have more than enough income, more than enough sources of diversified income, and more than enough net assets and investments and capital that you don't need to go and get a fucking another degree and get promoted. All right? Your kid is starting to get conscious. He's going to need you around. I'm not saying you give up your job, but I'm saying you better fucking be there. 16 months, what is that? That's a year and a third. So maybe you finish your accounting degree, so it'd be 2 1/3. All right. Maybe. But then you spend time with that motherfucking kid, right? And knock it off with this, oh, I got to get another property and flip this shit. I'm all for you getting your degree while the kid is maybe not paying, but you still better make time for it, and you better sacrifice your sleep schedule to spend time with that kid, right? But once you get that degree, fine, you can start applying for promotions. That's fine, as long as it doesn't take any more money, right? But I would do this. I would get the degree and then maybe try and get promoted within your company, but otherwise, I'd be motherfucking grateful you got the job you do. You don't risk it like your dad does. And then you do what every real normal moral person would do, and that is you support your fucking family. Fuck you. Your kid is more important than you. Okay? Your decisions should be made around the kid. Now, if all of a sudden your job were to become completely psychologically unbearable, that now is negatively affecting you and therefore negatively affecting how you're raising your kid, fine. Then you got to get out, and you know what? You got the position of fuck you. You got enough money. You got enough alternative sources of income. You could do it. Or do you? Oh, are you one of those sons of bitches that lives large right up to your income limit? Are you spending as much as you take in? See, that's another thing. Well, I'll read through the rest of this, and I'm wondering if that's the other case. Because if you are, you're fucked. You don't need a bigger house. You don't need a nicer house. You need a house. A small little house. Heck, a 2-bedroom apartment will suffice for a wife, you, and a kid. All right? So that's another thing that maybe I could go ahead and delve into, but I'll preemptively strike that out. If you got spending issues, like you need to have a big house and wifey won't suck your dick if you don't have granite countertops, no, you better get that shit tied down and cut immediately, all right? Your responsibility is a stable, financially stable, emotionally stable, psychologically stable, and loving family to your child. That is your number one goal. You don't matter except in the capacity that you serve as a good father that's in good mental health and a good role model to your child or future children. And you got it all. Now you're going to gamble it like fucking some guy at a roulette table. How many kids do you have? One boy, age 60 months. How old are they? Okay. Do you plan on having any more? The wifey wants 2 more. I want 1 more. Ultimately, we'll have 1 more. Doing in vitro. Okay, so you want another baby by 2017. Is someone going to stay home and take care of the kid? I mean, you're going to have 2 kids now. Or do you have a nanny and outsource it? I want to know. You make more than enough that your wife doesn't have to work. I don't know how much your wife makes. Your wife may make as much as you guys need that you don't have to work. But I'm going to assume the traditional situation that you do make more than she does, or you make enough, but you probably do make more than she does, and that you go to work, she stays home and takes care of the kids. After they leave, what do you and your wife intend to do? To be honest, we have not discussed this at length. To get the son we have took us X number of years of natural efforts plus 4 failed rounds. I'm 40, wife is in. Kids finish university or technical training. So you are going to pay your kids' way through college? Oh, okay. Anyway, he says, I have a concept of what I would like life to look like then. Some sort of less than full-time salary job that keeps me intellectually stimulated. 8 rental properties to manage that eventually I could pass over to my kids. So you're going to spoil your kids rotten. They'll be fucking psychos because you guys didn't raise them because you're too busy building up this real estate empire instead of actually providing them fatherly love. And then you're going to give them a ton of money. Great. I wonder if they're going to become spoiled fucking psycho cunts that are going to run for the fucking Labor Party over in your country. I wonder if they're going to become the Kennedys. Are you going to intend them to, are you going to teach them how to be actual self-supporting adults, or are you just going to spoil them rotten? A home in a major city as a base, an income-producing rural property within 2 hours of that home, bigger investment portfolio to manage, including royalties, listed shares, precious metals, wine funds, and a bit of an early-stage investment. More time to hike, mountaineer, maybe to do some teaching part-time. Hopefully kids are still living in the major city, although there's a high probability they'll be in other foreign countries. Yeah, because they won't like you. They won't be there. They'll be like, fuck you, Dad. And you'll throw all the more money at them when all they really wanted was time when they were kids. You're spoiling your children rotten, and you're ruining your family life in the present. You got a choice. You can live to work, which is what you're doing, and you will die with regrets, or you can work to live. Okay? I suggest you read Bachelor Pad Economics, especially the chapter on minimalism. You have plenty of money to afford the book, by the way. I know. Because your priorities are wrong. I'm not saying don't make money. It's great you make money. It makes things a lot easier. But if you're putting... This is overkill. You cannot take it with you. Okay? And then you'll be there on your deathbed, and your kids will probably kind of, okay, hey, Dad. And, okay, yeah, they got... they'll fight over it. Oh, he got the better property. I got the better property. And all that could have been avoided if you just spent time with them and threw the fucking ball. Any major luxurious items you want to buy... I was single for a long time, living a frugal lifestyle, and while my wife is less accepting of that than me, we are able to live well within my salary, I'd say. Renovate private property, bigger car to replace the 2001 sedan. All right, so you're not pissing it away here. God almighty, dude, you got all this money. You're frugal, you have all this money. You don't need more money. Another house as a long-term family home, this is a big issue. We're going to need it as soon as 1 year after our next child is born and no later than 3 years from now to get our son into a better primary school. Yeah, because school, that's, dude, for the most part, all schools are pretty good. As long as you stay out of the ghetto, all schools are pretty darn good. And they have the opportunities that your kids can do rather well. Unless you're talking into like a private school, but then you just ship your kid out there. Our zoned high school is in the top 5 of the town and is public. However, our locally zoned primary and intermediate schools are very diverse in not a good way. Okay, good. Well, then get them out of those schools and try and put... median prices are 9 times that of mean incomes. I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford it unless we have some major price decreases. Okay, can you live in your current house? You guys don't need a big house. Owners and renters. The house we're living at the moment, when renovated and rented, could absorb a lot of the input stuff. Don't renovate your house, all right? Stop it. Does the water run? And if you need to stay in this if your homestead, I don't know what they call it in your country, but your main home, if you need it, why don't you sell some of your rental properties? You got to have some equity in there if it's that important to get into this school district. I'd say you being able to walk to work is way more important because that'll at least allows you to have some time hanging out with your kids. You'd like to do to bridge that when my exams are over, time permitting, I would like to be able to do a couple of flips to raise a bit of capital. My wife and I have some experience in this. Our longer term out of the ordinary spending priorities are more holidays so the kids have experiences, some sort of business to run. I'm not supportive of this. She does not have any acumen for this, and it would be a fake business that makes her feel like a businesswoman, but in reality, she would not make a reasonable return on her time and on capital. No, fuck her. You don't give her coma money. KHOMA, look it up. You do not give her coma money. Look, does she have a real job? Because this doesn't sound like she's got a real job. She's one of these like, oh, I'm a hair salons type people, you make all the money, but I'm equal to you. Crack down on the fucking law, man. Wife, raise the kids. Take care of the kids. Homeschool them if you have to. Especially if she's working some bullshit job. But she ain't running no fucking money-losing business just to get you out of her hair. The kids are number one. And heaven help us if a fucking mother actually raised her own fucking children instead of running a fucking bauble shop. You keep adding to my investment portfolio, buy a roll property and more rentals, and when prices are sensible, I'll probably have more debt. Neither of us is, okay, what kind of lifestyle? Yeah, okay, number one, your emphasis is way too much on money. Number two, you are not investing enough in your children, in your family, and way too much in your career. Okay. Number three, I don't know what your wife does for a living, but unless it's really motherfucking important, it is not as important as her getting her ass back into the fucking house and raising those goddamn kids and supporting you. You're the quarterback. You're the champion. She's got to support you. Her support is just as vital as the work that you do. And number 4 or 5, whatever we're on now, she is not running a fucking coma store. No Dailies Doilies or Bertha's Bobbles or any other fucking dipshittery bullshit. And then as for like getting into that good neighborhood, I think you probably overestimate the size of the house you need. All right, can you get by? Can the kids share a room? I mean, you don't need that big of a place. And you have a large enough real estate portfolio that if getting into a particular neighborhood is that important, you should be able to sell your current house, one of the rental properties. There should be enough equity in there that you could buy for cash a house in that neighborhood that is adequate. Okay? Not huge, not what you want, not granite countertops, not next to a fucking trinket store down the road in the most luxurious and high-rent posh district where all the other fucking trophy wives go to piss away their husband's money. And that's it, dude. Yeah, you're trying too hard in your career. You're not spending enough time with your kids. I would redo your budget with minimalist thinking and ignore what your wife wants, ignore what you want. What do you need? You need a 2-bedroom apartment for a husband and wife and 2 kids. Kids could share the bedroom for the meantime. That'll put you in a reasonable rent. You could even rent if you wanted to. Go rent. Put yourself in that neighborhood. Fine. You get into the school. But right now you put way too much emphasis on your fucking careers and your fucking monetary gains and your material wealth and you do your own kids. And that will truly fuck you up in the end. So go think long and hard. Show this to wifey poo. Hi, wifey poo. Get a real fucking job. No coma shit. And guarantee you guys may not like it, but that's right, I'm an asshole. But in the end, guarantee you, 20 years from now, when your kids like actually want to come visit you on Christmas and none of them have committed suicide, you'll be thanking me. Best of luck to you. Toodles.